Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Lucid. I'm joined once again by Maryland.
Hello, my friends.
And we are back with the tournament finals. It's turn 35. And Maryland, where are we? What's been happening?
Well, do we want to mention our little error?
Oh, sure.
Just that we recorded 33 and 34, called them both 33.
Yeah. Mistakes prone to the elderly. We'll chalk it up as that.
Yeah, exactly. Summary. Well, I would say we're headed into the hardcore bash each other senseless from the leaders.
Yeah.
But I think we've got a lot of surprises to come. I've heard some hints from people. I try to avoid any spoilers, but I've had some hints saying the next few turns, 35, 36, could be very, very interesting.
Right.
And I don't know what more to say. The top leaders are still Van and Pan, in my view.
Yeah.
But some other players are showing a lot of strength.
Right. Yeah, I think that's kind of the question is, how will these other players, improve their position? Because there's a lot of people who are kind of still at one capital. And the corresponding amount of land. Maybe they've gotten a little bit out of it. But, that's what we're going to really need to pay attention to over the next few turns is can the game leaders, Pan and Vanheim, hold on to that? And Can any of these other players, like for End, can they convert this war with Agartha, into a pretty quick payday? Because if they sit here fighting Agartha for the next 10 turns... the game could get pretty far out of hand in that time for them.
It could. They do have I would say End has a bit of a time factor that they need to complete this. Either that or back the hell away.
Right. Okay, so we'll start our normal way with messages. Pythium here. We can see that. Lab burned down in an event 2 turns ago, and I just lost the last of my mages. Still have some assassins. That's when you know you're at the end of your rope. Is when you're down to your cap, the lab gets burnt down, you don't have a mage to build it back.
Oh my gosh.
Still have some assassins, though I won't be able to give some of them gear I traded for. This is it. Depending on who's trying to siege me, I may last another 3 to 8 turns. All right. Way to ride down the burning ship. Let's go look at Pythium. Where are they? Okay.
Yeah, there was just a bit of a Discord glitch. It's showing me a yellow exclamation point. Anyways, it's okay.
Okay. Can you see my screen still?
I lost it for a minute. It's back.
So, Xibalba has moved a bunch of cavemen who siege pretty well and some longbowmen on top. But I think there's nothing inside.
No.
So that's Pythium. Satis, some late musings. I think my 2 biggest mistakes were expansion and first war choice. Those are pretty big mistakes, if you're going to say those are mistakes.
I would agree with them.
My thought process, I think this is our first message from Satis, too. Maybe second. My thought process... Oh, we have?
In the past, but it's been quite a while.
My thought process was to go for the most threatening cold nation while I had a shot of beating them with Wailing Winds. Me going awake was to guard against any early rushes. I was very paranoid about getting rushed early and wanted to get Wailing Winds out a lot faster. But that didn't pan out because I had to use my god to expand. Well, you were the research leader by a lot.
But that is a significant thing there is if your god's expanding, but you went the 150 points to skip dormant to allow that to happen, then can you do that and do research rush?
I mean, I think he did do a research rush. He was the leader in research by an arm and a leg for a long ass time.
He was. And I agree.
Now the question, did it play out into him winning his first war? I think that's the missing link here.
Right.
Maybe it would have been cool if he could have gotten a few better scales and expanded without his god and gone dormant and done the same thing. I don't know if he could have.
That's kind of what I'm. It's kind of what I'm saying. Is
Right.
some better scales. He still would have had the research rush because he was going the Marsh Masters. Then,
Right.
because
I
I don't
think-
remember him able to use Wailing Winds before turn 12, anyways.
Yeah, I don't think he did.
So what did you gain?
Right. I think part of the problem, like if you go scales or not, is can you if you went better scales and you went elite warriors, I'm not sure if you could have kept maxing out Marshmaster production.
Probably not.
So I don't know. It's all a big puzzle, and it's a puzzle I don't know the answer to. But you can commit a lot of sins, and all of them will be forgiven if you win your first war, right? So you have problems in expansion, you suffer attrition, all these things can be forgiven if you win your first war.
I would also summarize that it seems to me from what we've seen, we've got some players that had a plan from the beginning and they have stuck almost to the letter to that plan. And some other players that seem to have been a little bit, I'll go this way. No, I'll go that way.
Yeah.
And that can hurt you, especially in the early game.
Right. Okay, let's continue his message now. Now Pangaea is bordering me. I'm almost certain they will have plans to kill me because it's a good matchup for them. Which is true, like his Wailing Winds rush isn't going to do much against Pangaea that can just go berserk.
But there's a counter argument here. Can Pan afford to kill another nation and not get ganked?
Right. That's a good point.
That's a complex analysis. If I was Pan and looking, okay, do I want to absorb another nation or do I want to prep for a throne rush?
Right. Yeah.
Which is my play now.
If he eats another player, he could very easily attract too much unwanted attention too.
Right. Well, and then he starts bordering all the other powerful players.
Right.
Keeping some of your borders weak from their side is not a bad thing.
Yeah. Sometimes it's good to have a rump state between you and some, mighty lion. Mm-hmm. My next action is to conclude the war with Jotun as swiftly as possible, maybe even peace, since they aren't a threat to the world anymore, and perhaps turn on Ulm. Then organize a coalition versus Pangaea.
Both of those sound like good ideas.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty okay matchup against Ulm. Mm-hmm. Ulm is, Wailing Winds is going to be a problem for them.
Yes.
Because they're slow-moving infantry, right? So it's going to take them a long-ass time to close. And by the time they close, they're going to be running.
Well, it doesn't take very long to run. I did an awful lot of Wailing Winds in my game in the tournament.
Yeah.
And I sent an awful lot of armies just packing before they engaged.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes it went bad, because it does.
Yeah.
But I mean, Pan should have, Growing Fury. Well, once you've got Growing Fury, you could kind of ignore Wailing Winds, except for the fact that you lose a few Magi.
Right.
But I think Pan can afford some Magi loss.
I think so, too. I also think Satis has a lot of strengths, but its biggest weakness is how slow it is and no thug chassis. I think the faster nations, which have thug options, a thug option or two, are the best picks for this game.
I mostly agree with that, with one exception. He's got one other weakness he didn't mention. Cold-blooded is painful.
Yeah, that's the worst part of Satis.
That is a really painful thing to deal with.
I wonder, because I think there's a lot of ways to thug with nations that don't really think about it. Like, if you had two of these guys and one of these guys, it's maybe a little expensive, because this is going to be 280, and then one of these guys is going to be 90, so you're now looking at like 370.
But you got some funky things. I mean...
But these guys could thug, probably, I think. Like, getting Body Ethereal and Bark Skin put on them.
He can Moss Body. I mean, he has to use an expensive mage to Moss Body, but...
But, I mean, I bet you these guys with, I don't know, a Frostbrand or something... like two of these guys, each with a Frostbrand or each with two Frostbrands, depending on what you feel like, with Body Ethereal and luck on them. I bet you they would murder PD.
Does he have any? He doesn't have really any Earth magic at all.
No. They get Where's the Sarumancer?
A lot of
The
people do.
Marshmaster.
Yeah, no. A lot of people do, or I often do Frostbrand and Mangoche instead of a shield. It's significantly cheaper.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that could work too. Stack
Well, it
defense up.
pumps your defense up to where it's, although those guys don't have very good defense, but the other thing
Yeah, they have good protection. I mean, they don't need much. You give them some weapons that are better with the AoE thing. I think they keep their bite too. They'll be very killy.
One thing he didn't use at all were any empoisoners.
Oh yeah.
And I was a bit
well,
surprised.
we don't know that. We can't see them.
True.
So, but yeah, you can do assassin expansion too. That might have been a way for him to speed up his slow expansion, but that would have diverted away from his plan, and his plan was a research rush. So it's probably why he didn't do empoisoner expansion.
Right.
Okay, so let's go to Satis. So yeah, this is why he feels naked against Pangaea. There's literally nothing defending all this stuff.
No. Pangaea is though to his north, right? Or
Yeah.
His border with Pan.
Pan's down here.
Oh, just that little area.
Yeah, he's just worried about Pan running all up in here. The problem with that too is you give Pelagia no one to fuck with except Pan. Like if you take over the whole coastline around Pelagia, then it's like okay.
Yeah, guess who I'm gonna fight?
Yeah, you might as well have a plan to kill Pelagia at that point because they're gonna be fucking with you all game.
And we kind of know that Pelagia is playing a spoiler game for now, so I don't think the other players maybe have caught on to that. We haven't heard anything from them suggesting that they know that play, but
well, I'm sure they know he's thinking the reason you play Pelagia in a biggish game like this is for wish spam. So they all know that.
Late game magic.
Right. Okay, so let's see. Do we have a battle here? Oh, this looks like a small raiding squad.
Yeah, he was probably hoping that big Satis army was going to move away, and it didn't. Okay, so he's got a lot of moss buddy.
Yeah.
That's quite a lot of moss buddy. But he's also got a lot of skeletons, so a little force like that is just never going to be able to kill enough skeletons.
Right. So, okay. Not bad.
Pretty straightforward.
Let's cover the Jotun wars.
Sure.
I don't think we have any messages from any of them.
I just wanted to have a quick look. Satis had one small fight just to the west of that bigger one.
Here? Oh, this one?
No, west.
Yeah, this is just a tiny raiding squad against one PD. Yeah.
See, that works good. You wanted to talk about thugging.
Oh, yeah.
Well, 8 Sobeks and a Sobek leader is good enough.
Yeah, that's going to kill pretty light PD.
See, not all thugs actually have to have gear, and not all thugs even have to have a mage. There's certain you did them.
Or raiding you can do with. You don't need thugs to raid, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's like I think that's a misconception people have. It's like, oh, I can't raid unless I have thugs.
Yeah, and there are certain options. I don't know, but I mean, I kind of repeat some of them. But there's certain options that Death Nations have some of the better options for spending a few gems on light raiding squads.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so let's we'll come down to the Jotun stuff. I'm going to read Ashdod as we get into that. 2 good luck events.
Ooh.
Oh my goodness. A Wraith
Holy
Crown.
crap.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not a great item though.
Well, you get free Long Dead every fight, and for Ashdod, they have super combatants. They will enjoy the body ethereal on them. So.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see what's happening. We have Bakemono raiding over here.
He's still going at it. That's pretty funny.
Uh-oh. We missed this as part of the Satis.
Good.
Uh-oh.
Look at that.
Oh, there's a hag here. You can't even see it. It's hidden behind the wall.
Yeah.
So, okay, he's got an astral hag. He's got just the most standard kind of budget scrotty. A lot of times you'll put a Frostbrand here too.
Yeah. a couple of slaves.
On this side, we have the god of Satis.
Who's doing Storm?
It looks like Wrathful Skies.
That's odd.
I think he's going to Wrathful Skies himself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, there's lightning hitting everywhere. Which is beating the crap out of himself.
Well, yeah, because he's got all this free spawn.
Well, the problem with using Wrathful Skies against a thug is the chances of actually hitting that thug are really small.
Yeah. Well, I think he was expecting to fight like a Turbo Communion army.
Yeah, and fair enough. You can only script for one possible option.
Right.
Too bad. I mean, some people have said, "Hey, could Dominion 6 have multiple script setups?" I suppose, but are we getting out of the range of realistic?
Yeah, I mean, the problem too is every feature you ask for that can increase micro, you have to remember that optimal play will require you use the new features. So that means you now have to script everything for 3 things to be competitive. So
he's hit the Scratty twice with Wrathful, so
yeah,
that was not an effective solution to a Scratty, but
yeah.
But he had to sort of go, well, which one of those options?
Well, he's got a fair amount of reinvigoration, it seems like. Reinvigoration 2. Raise Dead. Why is he doing Raise Dead, not Horde? Oh, he doesn't have Horde Skeleton. Oh, no, he does.
No, it's because his fatigue's too high. When a death mage gets up to the top end of 80 or 90 fatigue, it won't cast the big skeletons, it casts the little ones.
Okay, and this guy is fatigue neutral, or negative.
Yeah. So
this is just a question of, can he chew through these as fast as they're getting spit out?
Well, and the other sad part is that mage might have killed the Scratty if it had done Lightning Bolt.
Yeah.
But instead, it just fixates on...
Well, he's on spells, not advancing cast spells, so he's not really in range of the Lightning Bolt yet.
Should be. It's 25, isn't it?
Well, now he might be. Oh, Banefire. Yeah. There goes Lightning Bolt.
Oh, God. And he killed it.
Yeah.
Oh, that hurts. So he's escorting his god with nothing but Long Dead.
Well, he didn't want to risk. This is a trap, right?
Yeah.
And he didn't want to kill his own stuff in the trap.
Right.
But sadly, he ran into a trap of Jotunheim, which countered his. So, yeah.
That hurts. That hurts.
I wonder what heroic trait he got on this guy.
He could call it back.
Yeah. Well, that is the nice thing. People are like, oh my God, I killed your pretender. It's like, yeah, but it's really cheap to get him back. It's actually not that big of a deal.
Before turn 12, it's very painful.
Right.
And it depends on if you've bought mage priests, or if all you bought was mages.
Right.
Magi. I mean, I've had some disasters with losing my god early, and oh boy, that slows you down.
Right. Yeah, it does. But, it's when you do summon him back, even if it takes you 3 or 4 turns, you get him back almost for free. I mean, you have to spend the priest turns, which can be kind of expensive, but it's not like, if it's a tart or something, you might have killed 100 gems worth of stuff. This guy, you killed like 10 gems worth of stuff and some priest turns.
Yeah.
So
it's better in Dominions 5 because the chance to lose Magic Pass is not that high.
Right.
And you never lose your bless. Right. So, yeah, it's one of the reasons I think some of the people that say, oh, dare I risk my god? Well, if you paid for a god that can go fight, then yes, you should risk it.
Yeah. I mean, I think with gods, I'm kind of the opinion, use them like you stole them. Like, they are meant, like, the best thing about your god is that they can die and you get them back. That's the best thing.
Right. And you don't get a tart back, and you don't get anything that isn't twice born back. And
right.
Once in a while you can do Ritual of Rebirth, but there's a lot of factors involved in that.
Right.
Whereas the god, you can always get back.
Right. Okay,
Although, running around fighting with the rainbow doesn't usually go well.
Yeah. I mean, don't try to get him killed, but the point of having it, you know, it's different if you have a bless that's tied to him that'll go down. Then you might want to be a little more careful. But, you know, if that is not terribly important to you, the reason if you have them sitting around researching, then you fucked up. You know, like their job is to go out and fight or make you certain items or put up certain globals, but not to sit there and research.
There's any of those things. And the other one I always say to people is, keep in mind your god can only do one thing a turn, so have it do what it's best at.
Right. Yeah.
You know, I'm always see a newbie say, well, I want my god to forge, but I want him to fight, but I also want him to have a blast. And I always say, do one thing well before you diddle with anything else.
Yeah.
Because your god can only be in one place.
Right. Okay, so we have coming back to Jotunheim, we have Pelagia that has now clearly made a beachfront.
Right.
Or a beachhead.
Raids.
They've taken this fort. They've gotten this. They've gotten these provinces here on the side. Yeah, it is not looking very good for Jotunheim right now.
No, but he did make a nice play on Satis, and
right.
You know, there's a possibility he can negotiate his way out of this, or...
I don't know how you kill this as Jotunheim either. I think this will murder Scrotty. Well, there's probably... Oh, is he... I forget. No, he's not magic.
And if you tried to magic duel it, you're going to burn a lot of magi.
Oh, well, yeah. You don't magic duel in Astrolabe, I don't think.
You need a 3+, and then your chance is still very slim.
Yeah. This is pretty far out of magic duel territory.
Well, the only thing is you could sort of wait and hope that he comes into heavy of your dominion, but I don't think we're going to catch Arco making that mistake.
Yeah, I don't think so. This is hard to kill, guys. This is super hard to kill. A Vine Shield, a Scotata. This means you have to have a ton of shock resistance on your Scrotty. I don't think you... I mean, you could maybe send in 3 or 4 Scrotty that have... I'm not even sure the weapon, but with quickness and luck and twist fate, it might be possible. It would take like a Scrotty army to kill this.
Yeah. And he's got every resist.
Yeah.
At a decent level, a little bit. But with the regen he's got and recuperation, he's going to do reinvigoration. He's going to give himself... See, what's his protection now on that guy?
Well,
25?
he didn't do Iron Skin. If he did, it would only be 20, but... I think he didn't even do Summon Earth Power. Just doing Summon Earth Power will kick it up to 15. I think the thing is he's only got 5 shock resistance, and he doesn't want to have 0 shock resistance.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And this guy's just such a beast, though. I love Krakens. Ancient Krakens are so strong.
Yeah,
they're so strong.
And the ink, is effectively a poison cloud.
Yeah.
If I remember correct, you never lose the ink when you add on gear.
Right.
So anything not poison resist is going to slowly melt.
Yeah. And it's the same thing. If you kill him, not a huge deal. They just bring him back. He doesn't probably even really care about the paths that much, Well, he might care a little bit because he's going to be wishing. He's Astral 8.
He's got so much extra that he can afford it.
Yeah, he could afford to lose 1 and still get to Astral 9 pretty easy for Wish. But if he loses 2 Astral Pass, that would be a problem.
He could re-empower.
Yeah.
It's expensive, but so's wishing. If you can afford the 100 pearls to wish, you can afford to empower a little bit to get there.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the Pelagia front. Over here...
What happened in the storm? Anything interesting in Pelagia's storm?
No, there was nothing in here. It was just empty.
It was empty.
Yeah.
Okay. So Pelagia just got a free fort.
Right, and then Jotun just loses this fort. This is, we were talking about it many episodes ago, but this is what I was saying when I was saying Jotun got spread thin. Like, they took almost all this stuff without any fight. Like, Jotun has given up so many forts without a fight. He had 1 fight down here, which was the army he went on the offense with, but everything else has been taken mostly without a fight.
Speaking of Jotun, is it that Vanheim sitting inside Mictlan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
So he didn't just
this
block
is old news now. Yeah, I mean
I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah. They haven't been here for that many turns, but they've been, there's no cross signs or whatever over here. Like, Vanheim's been done with the Mictlan eating for a while.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot.
Okay.
You're right.
So that's so on Ashdod, they've gotten this throne, they've gotten this great farmland, they've gotten this province from them that has the illusionist in it.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
And it hasn't cost them nearly a damn thing, except the worst part of this war for Ashdod is getting their guys all diseased up from sitting on that fort.
He got some trouble with starvation.
Yeah.
And a famous problem with any of the Hinnom Ashdod group.
Right.
So who do you think? Do you think Ashdod is going to keep pushing and taking some more Jotun? Because, Xibalba can't really dispute it. He could, but he's kind of tied up.
Oh, that's a good question.
And there's nobody else. So, arguably those 5 more brown provinces could be future Ashdod, and nobody can really contest it.
Maybe. I think this is the thing. I think for Pelagia, they desperately want Jotunheim to die. Because Jotunheim will never forgive them taking this whole beachfront. As long as Jotun's here, they're not going to be happy about Pelagia having this. But if somebody comes and eats Jotunheim, then they probably won't care. So...
But we did talk about how Pelagia has stated quite clearly he doesn't want to get too big. He wants to be able to counter whoever's the next biggest.
Right. He probably still wouldn't mind having a few more provinces. He's still like one of the smallest players left.
Well, if I was him, absolutely,
he's in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, I'd be going for the rest of Jotun I can get to.
Yeah.
Why not?
So,
and especially if he negotiates with Ashdod.
But that's the question now, right? That you were asking, which is how, who's going to come and kill Jotun? I see, it could be if Pelagia is willing to fight. This is a pretty big, scary army. He could maybe come and put the finishing blow and get some other guys to help.
Sure.
But like you said, he also may not want to. He may be like, okay, I want to mess with Pangaea now or something.
He might. Now, the other thing is the way I see sort of looking here at the Jotunheim situation, it's really only Ashdod and Pelagia have much of a chance of taking Jotun's capital.
Right.
Because Satis is just bouncing.
Right.
He's been bouncing for forever. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Well, and Satis without his god now. Anything he was going to do to make progress, just cancel that until his god comes back. But so he wanted to come up here and maybe mess with Ulm. This is as good a time as any to just get the hell out of here. You lost your god. Come up with some agreement, whatever it is, and get the hell out.
Yeah. So that you just clicked on, that Ulmish army is in a strange location.
Oh my god.
How the heck
did
it...
he took this. This was a Bandar fort, right? Or no?
Yeah.
No, this was, so this was the Bandar fort he had.
Right.
And he's been running around. The problem with deep raiding is you're not collecting income.
Yeah. And then he got cut off by a little thug from Vanarus. So, boy. That army is a long ways from support. It's a decent army, but it's nothing really amazing.
Yeah. See, the problem with this is you just worry about 10 or 15 air elementals killing the whole thing.
Sure.
But, you're fighting into an air nation. They're not like an air powerhouse, but...
But he's pushed 3 provinces beyond his own line of supply.
He might be trying to just keep from losing ground. Because, he had lost a fight or 2 up here. And keeping this army down south might keep some of the Vanarusian forces from going on the offense, but
yeah, and that's not a bad strategic consideration. Vanarus is popping out with cheap counter thugs, counter raids.
Yeah, let's see how he's kidding these guys up. Vine Shield Frostbrand, the most boring goddamn thug gear.
Yeah,
Stop.
but it works.
It does.
It works.
I loved it when we saw the cool stuff, the snake bladder stick and the main
Right.
gosh and the...
Right. Yeah.
But, I mean, this is just so easy for killing PD.
I can't say too much. I just ran out a couple of Vine Shield Frostbrand guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it was easy and it works.
It does work. It does work. As long as there's no mages there.
Yeah.
If there's mages, you start sweating bullets.
It's not so good against really strong guys either because they just break the vine so quick.
That's true too. Okay, so Ulm is they're on this throne. I don't think we know. Okay, here's their god. Their god's in this fort. So their god can magic phase out. And he's on this. He hasn't cracked anything. He just has all these sticks in the fire. You know, he's got Bandar on lockdown. He's got this army deep raiding. He's got little defensive stuff here. You know, he's got this little army. He's got this fort slowly getting sieged down.
It's a tricky situation.
Yeah. It's like it could go well, but it could all go to shit in one turn too.
Yeah, it could go bad very quickly.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say about Ulm. I should tidy up the notes here as well. We definitely solidly talked about Jotun. We've definitely solidly talked about Pelagia. We're now working on Ulm and Vanarus.
Yeah, let's I think there's not much to say. Did we get a note from Vanheim? We didn't.
No.
We'll come back to Pangaea next.
Yeah. So the Vanheim situation, I don't think there's much to say.
Yeah, there's not much to say. We see here there's we've got a fair amount of Vans. So he's got a lot of sacreds here, which we can see them because they're glamored, but it's very possible Ashdod can't.
He's got some Camazots. That's kind of nice. That's a nice little bit of diversity. I just wanted to get back to Vanarus and Ulm. I think we've kind of covered it. Vanarus has obviously maintained the ability that Vanarus, not Vanheim,
right,
that if he needs to pop out of his capital, he can. In the interim, he's raiding inexpensively. He's holding his territory. It looks like he's given up any attempts to grow against Jotun because that now four-way. See, that province that Ulm moved in has been owned by Jotun. It's been owned by Van, and it's been owned by Sitis.
Yeah. Yep.
Now we got four people circling around that same stupid-ass province, back and forth and bouncing around.
That's the truth.
I don't think Ulm knew that, but
yeah,
he's basically jumped himself into the middle of that three-way war. Well, almost four, because Pelagia was sort of part of it.
Yeah. Oi. Okay.
Okay. I just wanted to comment on that, sort of the overview strategic.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. So yeah, not too much happening with Midgard. It just looks like he's got more stuff on a lot of his borders. He's got stuff down here. He's starting to beef up some presence up here if stuff goes south with Ashdod. And he's got, of course, his biggest force over here in Mictlan.
And he can do whatever he wants. He's strategically free right now.
Right, he's a completely free agent right now. So.
Right, and that's useful.
Yeah. Okay.
Any more on Ashdod?
No, let's go to Pangaea.
Sounds good.
The free temple event we got bumped the Dom score, letting us recruit an extra white centaur. I was actually hunting to see where I could place another temple the turn before, and if I should cut a mage to build one. Can you say misfortune value?
That worked well for him.
I think I would take the... Was it... Oh, Ashdod? I think I'll take the Ashdod events. But,
well, yeah, but...
Yeah. But yeah, it's not bad for misfortune getting a free temple. Okay, another message from Pangaea. I saw Uruk's big cat mages wandering, so I know he tried to site search, but the sheer lack of gems here has Kobold convinced that we have to site search it too. Not with Astral or Nature 1, Water 1, Earth 1, Holy 1, but Pans and Augury for sure.
Totally. And this is one of the reasons people say, well, when do you use remote searching or specialized searching? And what I look for is only one or no sites, and try to guess what your opponent, if you've taken a province, is it worth going in and doing some searches?
Yeah.
If there's two sites there, I usually say no. But if there's only one or 0, then yes, there should be something there. On average, there's something like 1.8 or 2 sites per province in every game.
Yeah.
That's an average. It's not entirely reliable, but it's kind of how it goes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. And you can also kind of know by which player it is, too. Some people are kind of notorious for site searching everything.
Yes. Well, I can be a little bit, like he says, the completionist within me. I could be a little that way for sure.
Yeah, I will normally site search the shit out of my core lands, but if it's lands I'm not sure I'm going to hold on to in the long term, then I will often not site search it at all.
It's not a great thing to search and give somebody free sites.
Right. Even if it's just like area I'm not, like it's in my land, but I just don't feel comfortable about it, I'll be like, we'll just research.
Yeah.
But, okay, and this appeals to the completionist within me and also serves as a reminder that I will never just leave my mages to research and simply wonder why my research is behind. Yeah. There's a lot of ways to distract your mages.
There is.
Okay, so Pangaea. Catching some scouts.
Catching some indies. Stomping on Uruk a bit. He'll had a fade. Uruk brought out the god.
I think he called him back, and then it's like...
Oh, that is so awkward.
Killed by harpies, it's a bad way to go.
Yeah. But that infamous kind of problem.
Yeah.
One of my favorite stories was when I had a Kraken for early age or middle age, really, I don't remember which. And it got killed because it got frogged. You know,
yeah. And frogs aren't amphibious.
Exactly, and it drowned.
Yeah. Which is strange, because we all know frogs are amphibious.
Well, the other issue is that normally most things that when they immortals or things that are called back by ritual or something, they get transformed to their new shape before they arrive. You would have thought, and I think that's patched.
It's patched, yeah. In Dominions 5, it works like that. So,
but it was one of the funniest stories for me personally. I spend all these mage turns to call back my Kraken, and it dies because it drowns.
That's so funny, and it's permanent. You can't fix it.
No.
Okay, so we've got a decent mage core. This is Pangaea just pinging, seeing what's in here. We've got a decent mage core.
So looks like a communion in the back.
It looks like he's going to buff some of these guys up. I wonder if this is Battle Fortune.
Could be, or anti-magic.
This guy probably going to do a bunch of air elementals, which I don't necessarily love against Pangaea, because magic weapons White Centaur are going to kill air elementals really fast, especially with only one guy casting them. I think they'll have no effect except fatiguing out your communion. I think the plan with this is basically buff these guys up and have a Soul Slay communion behind.
Yeah, that could be.
I would prefer if they got more buffed, I think, than having more Soul Slay. But anyway.
What are those guys in front with the spears? Are they like a satyr?
Yeah, it's like a sacred summon that Uruk gets. So
a giant satyr.
And they have this, I think it does extra damage versus demons or stuns demons.
Okay. Yeah, that weapon's the apotropaic are on some of the 4-armed Lanka summons.
Right. So it's a cool it's a cool sacred. Now he doesn't really have much of a bless.
Yeah.
Okay, we saw a bunch of luck and wooden warriors getting cast. Okay. And then these are all communion slaves, it looks like.
So he pinged this with a gem burner.
No, none of these cost gems.
No, my bad.
Okay, so we'll get to hopefully see a cool fight there in a turn. This is cracked too. We don't know what's inside.
I think it's empty from prior turns.
Yeah.
I think he moved everything to the one south of it. And then he was just unable to move that army at Xibalba.
Oh.
I think Uruk had wanted to. Oh.
This is in that throne. That's a big deal.
That's nice. Who got it?
Pangaea is Uruk got it, but it's about to be Pangaea's, it looks like.
Yeah, that's going to be useful.
That's going to be super useful.
Well, that's about it for Pan.
So, okay. Uruk, I guess we'll switch to, since we've kind of been talking about him. Yeah, not much is happening. He's just got this one fort that I think is the last unsieged bastion of Uruk.
And I think that's his last significant army.
Yeah.
He's got the few in the water. But he can't hold against. Those are going to be pretty poor in the water, the Iron Warriors.
Yeah. Few water elemental summoners would have their way.
I predict that the end of Uruk is nigh.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. There's not much that it's looking like he can do. I mean, this is an interesting army in here, and maybe with perfect scripting he could hold it, but you know, it's looking very, very rough.
If Pan had some way to pull off something like, for example, mass flight, that'd be a quick dead fight. And
it would.
The obvious way to do that is get a fairy queen.
Right.
Which is something Pan can do. But his research is
Pan, for all their strength, though, does not have very good research. It's getting better, but they're like number 5 still, so.
Although, by this point in the game, that could be high conjuration. Just depends on what his focus
But he would also have to have enchantment 7 for mass flight, so. Having both of those is not likely right now. Because he also has Mother Earth, so he at least has Alt 5.
Yeah, so he's going to have to go through the gate and take a bit of a beating.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so we've done that. We've done Xibalba, I think, too. There's not much to talk about with Xibalba.
Not really. Just I see his god, but I think it's doing something. I think his god there is just doing something like blood hunting or something.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it's doing.
He's not bothering to fight with it right now.
Right. And I think this brings us, Marilyn, to maybe the part of this turn I've been looking forward to most, which is what the hell is going to happen with End of Agartha.
Yeah, I heard some spoilers that I told. Oh, stop talking about this. Oh, look, remember I predicted this?
Well, yeah, you were saying it would be good to use these guys as little raiders. With one of these guys leading them in about 15, this is exactly what you said he should be doing.
Exactly, it's cheap and it works.
Now, this guy does not have fire resistance, and he is getting cooked.
He's a little too close.
Yeah,
he's a little too close.
Okay, but he's got Strength of Giants, and these guys with Strength of Giants are pretty fucking scary.
Yep, and off they go.
Look at that heavy cav. I mean, they died so goddamn fast.
Yep.
Oh, and then an Earth Elemental? That was very effective.
Can he win it? Not quite.
Almost won it. And this was a significant ball of stuff to run into.
But the mage got away, and he spent, if I remember correctly, that would be something like 6 gems.
Do you want to look that up? Because I actually am really... I can't remember how much they cost.
Yeah, I can look that up. Let me just open it up here. It's not very much. It's not very much at all. I think they're 3 for 2 fire gems.
3 for 2? So this was 15. So that's 5 times 2. So that's 10 gems. Right?
Ruak's Pact. No, it's 5 for 2.
So this was 6 gems.
6 gems. Yeah, okay. 6 gems. Plus the few he had Earth gems.
Yeah. Yeah,
if that had worked, that would have been very cost effective.
And this was close to working.
It was.
He sent another raiding squad down here. No magma kids, just a small group of idiots here. Now this he might have been better served by holding attack.
Yeah, but, still, I think the whole idea of doing some counter raiding, he's gonna...
this bitch mother is just dropping imps on him like it's hot.
Ooh, yeah.
These are causing a major problem. It's a huge distraction, and the imps are coming out faster than they're killing things. And these guys from End are all, they've got Ethereal, and they're Bless. I don't know if they've got Luck, too. This was just perfectly set up by End to deal with a small raiding squad from Agartha.
Right, but to give Agartha credit, sending out a few small raiding squads at least is doing something, and it's not putting at risk his capital defense.
Right, I agree. But just very well done by End too. This is just a very clean defense. It
was, yeah, and End can afford that.
Right.
Oh, and this one worked. Very, very nicely. Yeah, he's got a little bit of a spacing problem there. He's about, not too far. But it doesn't quite wipe it. And look at that. They just melt things.
Yeah. Loses one, but not a big deal.
Well, they're not hard to kill, except you got to kill them before they kill you.
Right.
And that's the generally tough part.
Right. And he's got a little raiding squad here, kills a scout. Wait, what is this? Oh, well, we missed this in the Pangaea part, but Pangaea is vulturing. All right, so Pangaea comes in with this squad, a bunch of crossbows with some satyrs.
So dirt cheap, and a few mermen, just to throw some nets in the works.
And then...
he catches in, moving a few magi up.
Surprise! Oh, yeah, these guys are not going to like a lot of crossbows.
No, I don't think these were intended to be a raid or anything. I think he was just moving them through an empty province and he got caught.
No, this was a raid against Agartha.
I meant the end.
The end. This wasn't.
Oh, really?
Because Pangaea attacked Agartha.
Oh, that's right.
And then
you're
End
right.
attacked Agartha. But this might have killed a little bit of PD, but it was not going to kill 30 crossbows. But it did kill 10 satyrs.
Yeah. Huh. Okay. So, is this backstab?
Well...
by Pangaea, or a diplomatic failure on the part of End?
I mean, if we look at it...
it's a very reasonable attack for Pan.
I mean, End is now bordering Pangaea on the north and the south.
Right.
And up here, this stuff that they've raided that was Agartha's, this move by Pan makes it look like they want to take this too. Like normally you don't have a little peninsula of stuff sticking out.
Yeah. Well, but we did talk about, I felt it was strategically useful to End to cut off any of the northern elements for Agartha just to keep him off balance.
Right, and to prevent people from vulturing, which is what's happening right now.
And I think losing 2 magi for that purpose is a cost that's almost insignificant.
Yeah. I don't know. This looks aggressive from Pangaea. He's got a bunch of dudes here. I think Pangaea is thinking about getting all this.
Yeah.
Because this war with End and Agartha is not over yet.
But notice, Agartha moved most of his big capital stack to the south.
Right.
So is he going to try to break that siege in that farm immediately east of it?
Yeah, I mean, this would be free, but if you do this, you give up this fort probably.
Well, that one's done already, so it's too late probably to stop that.
Yeah.
I see Agartha made another little counter raid a little bit to the northeast there.
Yeah.
On that one, just a plains there.
Oh, this is successful. So End had another little... He's doing these shamans combined with... So he's doing an astral shaman chief and an abbot magus.
And so a single slave. You don't get much from one slave. You don't even
I think
get
it's just... Yeah, but it's just the fatigue, I think.
Yeah, I guess so. And mind burns. Okay.
Yeah.
So lots of mind burns. But then he runs low and he has to start fires. And he does a combustion. It's just not enough. It's not a bad play.
It's pretty clever. But I think, if we look at the buffs on these guys, they've got 24 protection. Okay, 20 hit points. I forgot he has a 10 HP thing in his bless.
Right. The problem is they can't kill when they're in close like that.
Well, you know, they have this fire shield.
No, that's true. That's true. Yeah, and the fire shield is...
It's a morale check. It's a morale check.
Yeah.
He failed a morale check when he was only down 2 HP from his maximum.
But he got all the PD killed. So years ago, there was a player, Callahan, and he used to do a lot of cheap light thugging. And one thing he was really careful is if you buy more than a little bit of PD, you can accidentally route your own thugs. Now, this isn't a lot of PD, but it had to play into that route.
Yeah, I mean, the Shaman Chief was pretty low. But yeah, I think the net HP from these two guys was not below 50% of where they came in.
I don't think so, but I know there's some details towards that I think I was told PD doesn't count to the full hit points anymore.
Right.
It used to. But even so, even a handful of troops on guard commander on these two guys might have stopped any route. And the reason the Cannibal Shaman Chief didn't route was he was fatigued out as a communion slave.
Yeah. Well, that's I mean, this almost worked. I was actually thinking this would have done better against the little stack that Imp had than it did. It really almost worked.
It did almost work, yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I don't know, you know. What does Ian do now? See, I would argue he made a bit of a mistake on that fort south of where you are, the one Ian is sieging, leaving such a small siege army instead of finishing it off. Because see, now chances are he's not going to get it stormed before he loses.
I don't think he cares about this. I think Ian's plan is to take this and this.
Okay.
And to just keep raiding. The problem will be if like Pangaea attacks or you know, the other thing he has to worry about is this army slamming in here.
Right.
But I think End kind of wants this in a way. I don't think I would if I were End. I think this army would kill this.
You think the Agarthan army would kill the End army?
Yeah.
Well, maybe, but Agartha's lost, what, 2 or 3 of those fights in the past.
Yeah.
They've been all but stack wipes.
But there were a lot of scripting problems in the previous fights.
Yes.
So
yes. So has he figured that out?
Right.
Okay.
So we'll see. I feel like as Agartha, you'd probably just punch this. That's actually what I would do. Like, or maybe send a small squad. This is a bunch of garbage on top of this. The only thing scary here is the bitch mother who's going to summon a bunch of imps. Otherwise, this is complete garbage. Like, honestly, Agartha could probably thug this whole thing with Oracle.
Oh, you mean stop that siege there? Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
So I'd probably like send an Oracle over here, kill this, and then take this. This fort's fucked now, but I think I just take this and slam into this.
Well, last turn we commented that I thought Agartha's best move was straight to his east to threaten that siege army and make it do something.
Yeah.
He chose to go south instead, which is valid.
Sure. But he has to do something. He can't.
That's what we were saying. He just can't.
He can't sit here and like, oh, I'm going to protect my cap circle with the army. I don't think he needs to take End armies off the board.
Yeah.
All right. Well, not too much. Well, okay. Something we had things happen, but no big battles yet. With this situation,
I've got us at 12 nations, and I think that's it.
Yeah.
Can you look quickly at the Pretenders of the World? How many are finished? One, two, only 2 finished.
Yeah. So well, I mean, I think technically we've got Naba's out, Mictlan's out. We'll just go through. We've got.
Well, I wrote down Pythium.
I think we've got everybody done.
Jotunheim, Pelagia, Vanarus, Vanheim, Ashdod, Pangaea, Uruk, Agartha, Ind. Oh, Bandar. That's who we didn't cover. I don't think there's nothing to say about
Bandar is Ulm TBD.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless he's fighting Ulm, unless he's breaking out of his capital, then it's basically just we cover when we do Ulm.
But to the best of my knowledge, he's got nothing left inside because his last Yaksha died.
Did it die or retreat? I can't remember. It might have died. Okay.
I think it died. We'd have to check, but
yeah.
Okay.
Well, that was a good one. Thank you for joining me, Maryland.
You are most welcome.
And to all the viewers, thank you for tuning in. Who? Let me know in the comments. Who do you think is going to win at this stage? If you had to guess, are you going to go with one of the front runners? Do you think it's going to be Pangaea or Vanheim? Do you think somebody else will pull it out? Let me know. See you next time.
Should be interesting. Bye, guys.